Hi everyone and happy Monday. We have a planner page to do today this is from Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford, and I have my original version here to show you. Now I found this really difficult to do and oops, let's try and get it in focus. There we go, so you can see it. So I cheated a little bit, as you can see, by simplifying it, by making all the bottles the same colour and then just doing the contents in metallic pen. So that is an approach that could be taken to sort of simplify it, but I am going to do it in a different way to this. I'm not going to do all the bottles the same. I'm going to make it more colourful. So that is that one. Now of course this is a shrunken version of the page. Just put the book back, there we go. So it's going to be a little bit trickier because there's much smaller details, but I'm sure I can manage, and I'm sure you can manage. I grabbed my Black Widow's pencils for the fact that it's tricky in detail, but also I thought they got a good range of colour. They sharpen to a fine point. I haven't used them for a while. They've got great names for a Halloweeny page, which effectively is what this is. So let's make a start, coming in close, not really close, and doing the wooden bit around the edge. It's like the framework of the cupboard doors, and we've also got shelves that we can do, and I think that'll be a nice easy start. So I'm going to look at my swatch chart and grab a lightish brown. I think actually I'm going to use the cinnamon. Here we are, cinnamon, and just get going. So this isn't actually that light a brown, it's a sort of mid brown really, but I'm going to put it all over the wooden parts of the picture, and it will just get us going and started really, and then we can think about what to do with the rest of it really. I'm sort of in a bit of a debate in my head with regards to colouring this, because I'm thinking we've got this sort of background bit behind the bottles. Now, as you saw in the last one, I just did it in a purple, and I'm thinking, excuse me, do we do them all the same? Do we do them differently? Do we make it just look like a wooden cupboard? We could do it in black because it might be dark in there, or we could do it really sort of magical and shiny, or we could do it in what I would class as a Halloween colour, which I consider to be orange, bluey green, red, or purple. I don't want to do a purple one again because I've done a purple one before. I'm not stopping you though. If you like purple and you think it looks like it should be purple, and that's fine. This is quite tricky up here, and so it's up to you, of course, what you do. So it's already 11:30. Time has moved so fast this morning. I've done very little. Everyone's here, which is part of the problem. My son had his lecture cancelled. His teacher's unwell, so he's not going in until after lunch. He was doing some work on a piece of work. He was asking me questions. I was helping him a little bit. My other son's home from work. He wasn't creating any distraction for me. Husband also home today, and he's gone out, but he was sort of procrastinating going out and things like that. So I was trying to encourage him, because he wanted to go. He knew he should walk, but he was nervous about walking, so he wanted to take the car, but he felt guilty. So I just said to him, look, take the car, it'll be fine, and do some exercise at home. And he's like, but like what? And I was like, well, you could just march on the spot or something, as if you're walking. He hates doing that sort of thing. I said, the stairs, go up and down the stairs. If you go up, we've got 3 flights. If you go up and down about 3 times, that's quite a good high intensity training. I've done it before, although I did only 1 flight, up and down, up and down. My son's spiral stairs to his bedroom, you can't really go fast. You have to be a bit careful, especially as he leaves loads of stuff on the stairs or his laundry. Right, I'm just going to sharpen my pencil. So you have to be a bit careful with that one. Anyway, this is a much redder colour of brown than I was sort of hoping for, but I shall be covering up, I expect, covering up most of it with another brown. Now, because this page is daunting for me, it's very tempting to just rush through it, which is what I did with the last version. But I'm sort of determined to try and make it look nice and slow myself down a little bit. So this could be quite a long series. It sort of depends, especially, you know, with so many little bits and pieces. It might take a while, but I don't want to make the videos too long either, because it might make it daunting for you. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm pretty much finished my Halloween colouring now. I've got one page that I'm doing now, and I think that's going to be it for this year for me. I'm going to go back to trying to finish Rita Berman's Hidden Oceans book. I don't have the English language version. I have Die Welt unter der Lupe zu Wasser, or whatever it is, the German edition. So I have that one I want to finish. So I'll be going back to that one. But I have done some other colouring so far this month. I've done the tiny year October and November pages, because the November pages are Halloweeny. I've done some pages in the flower year, the October pages. I might do some of the November pages as well. I'm just sort of thinking, you know, when Johanna's book's out next month, I might just want to colour that all the time. Although, you know, I'm going to want to share quite a bit of the colouring with you guys. So we'll see. There'll be some pictures that I definitely won't do on video. So I don't know which ones. They just always are. Like this one would have been one. Yay. Right. I am now going to do all the little shelves. So anyway, it is what it is, and we're doing it now. Oh, I went over. Never mind. So yeah, I've got a few colouring plans. I haven't decided, because I know we've got a few months, but like what my goal might be next year. Like my goal this year was to finish a book a month, and in the end I finished quite a few books early. So I finished, you know, I will finish the equivalent of a book a month, or probably more. But there weren't any, like in October, for example, that I'd finished. But I'll get there. There will be a couple in December, because there'll be this planner, and there'll be Tiny Year. So I'll be able to show you those flip throughs, which will be nice at the end of December. I'm looking forward to that. It'd be nice to have a couple of finished books. Yeah. So I don't know whether I'm going to do the same thing next year. The year before, I had decided I was going to colour in every book I owned every month. I couldn't do that, but I coloured in a lot of books every month. So basically, when I did my completed pages video, it was lots and lots of books, whereas this month it's been much less books. I'm going to grab the Huntsman. It's probably the darkest brown, and what I want to do with this is to add some contrast within the brown. I'm going to use it on all the edges. I think I'll just do that to start with. So I'm going to make the edges dark and then just taper it in a bit. So I'm doing a couple of lines on the edge, and then just one coming in, just to form a sort of border, I suppose, for the edge. I'm just going to move that pencil away from my elbow, or so I'm going to knock it on the floor. There we go. Yeah, so I haven't decided whether I'm going to try and finish books next year. I do like doing that, but I don't think I've got any that are close to being completed. I'm going to do the same on this side and the bottom as well. No, so I don't know really. There will be books I'll finish next year, like the 2026 planner, and I'm sure I'll finish Wonderful Wildflowers. I might even finish Inklings, you know, that sort of thing. I really would like to finish my second copy of World of Flowers, but I've done hardly any in it. I sort of bought it to do videos in, and then I didn't. So it's just sort of been hanging about. I have done some videos from it, to be fair, but I find some of Johanna's other books are much better suited to the types of videos that I like making, because I tend to not like doing a whole page like this, do I? I usually do a series of little pictures, and her more recent books have more little pictures in. So there are about 3 pages with little pictures in World of Flowers, and I think it might be the same with her new book. There are less pages with little pictures in, which some people prefer not to have them anyway. And of course Inklings will have loads, I'm sure, if it's going to be anything like Small Victories, which I'm assuming it is, you know, because it's going to be one of those small size books again. Looking forward to that. Probably looking forward to that more than Wonderful Wildflowers. In fact, the affirmation cards are the things I'm looking forward to the most. I love a good affirmation, positive thinking, all that stuff. It's right up my street. I just like, wow. I'm going to do it around this top one as well. It's going to be hard to see because I find it a bit fiddly. Yeah, so, whoa, went over the lines. Don't worry, because this border is going to be black. So if you go over the lines, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. With the shells, I'm just going to make them dark at the bottom, I think, and the sides. Yeah, so those I think look amazing. And of course, we haven't seen those yet. Coming out in February, I've pre-ordered them already. I'm sort of thinking, I don't know, do I colour them in and frame them, or do I just frame them, buy a set for colouring in and buy a set for framing? I don't quite know yet how they're going to look, so we'll see. But I'm very excited by the whole thing. Or maybe, I think, actually, just thinking about it, I'm sure she said that the box, well, you could stand the cards up in the box. So maybe it would just be a case of colouring them, leaving them in the box, and then standing a different one up each day or month, or well, I don't know how many they're going to be. But I am very excited about those. It's such a lovely, positive way to, you know, do a task with colouring. I have had, I did have a positive affirmation colouring book, a couple I think, did like them a lot. I found the quotes nice to look at while I was colouring, although some of them aren't, the pictures aren't quite my style, you know, it depends on the book, of course, you know. I'm just concentrating on trying not to go out of that line. There we go. I've got this sort of thought in my head that maybe behind the bottles we could colour it like there's sort of magic, but then I'm thinking, can I pull it off? Will it look weird? Will it be better just to do a bright colour? I think I might just do a bright, it's tempting just to do a red, you know, really sort of stand out colour. But also quite, I just find red looks quite luxurious, plush, and I don't know, but would the back of a cupboard be red? Who knows? Might be. Right, we're going to do some black now, because I know what I'm doing here. I'm going to grab the Midnight, doesn't matter what black you use. Black's a black. Well, that's not entirely true, there are different shades of black, but, and I'm going to do this inside line here all the way up inside, and that will cover the bit where I went over the lines if I'm careful. Don't go back, I'd swap a bit and go over the lines into the, no. Now for me, I'm thinking that this is a cupboard door. I think we probably all agree on that. And the potions are in the cupboard, and I find it odd there's a big gap between the doors. I don't know whether I should colour that in or not, what it is, whether it's like whether there's like, I'm just going to turn that and do it a bit harder, whether there's like a bit of wood between the two doors or something. Okay, but I'm going to leave it, I think, leave it white for now. I'm going to come up from the bottom. In fact, I'm going to do that bit, going all over the place. Excuse me. Now I've got these little decorative bits. We've got a decorative bit here and up here, and they're not see-through. I can't see the lines of the bottles through, which is quite good because otherwise it would be quite difficult, to be honest. So I need to do something decorative with those. But this loop is joined to this outside line, so we've got to do that in black. There we go. And then this sort of arch. Now there are different approaches to this decorative bit that could be taken, of course, as there is with anything really. It looks quite metallic to me, the sort of curls in it and the twists and, you know, that sort of thing. But it could be that you decide to do it like sort of stained glass, but I'm not sure that. I think that'll get lost if you do all your potion bottles lots of different colours, which is my current plan, but I'm not sure whether I'll stick with it because, you know, it's me. If you do them all different colours, then that stained glass might just get lost. Woo! Look at that. Let's see if I can erase that. I doubt it. Give it a go. Certainly fade it back. It's better. Not perfect, but better. So yeah, if the bottles are all going to be bright different colours, then doing bright coloured here is going to not, it's just going to get completely lost in all the colour details. So I think that it might be wiser to do it sort of maybe silvery or goldy, something like that. I'm really tempted to do it gold, but there isn't really enough room to create a gold colour with sort of, you know, 2 browns and a few yellows and that sort of thing, how I create gold. There really isn't room. I'm just going to turn that again because it gets very faint if you don't. There we go. Right, I'm just going to sharpen up and do that little arch bit. So I think silvers might be better. Now you could use a silver pen as you could use a black pen for this bit. I often find that if I use a pen and pencil, then the pen work, because it's so intense in colour, so defined, it can just make the pencil look a bit weak somehow, a bit scruffy and a bit pale. So I get a little bit reticent. I'm going to do these 2 lines here as well about mixing pen and pencil. It depends in what way I'm mixing them and what colours and things like that. You know, if there's a few dots here and there, that's okay for me. But if it's like, you know, a big area of background, you can sometimes get away with it as a background. But, you know, if it's big areas, I sometimes think it's difficult to make it work. Right. What I'm going to do for these areas, now we've got a bit of a frame around this one. I'm not sure about that yet. But there's a sort of background part and a front part of each of these little areas. So what I'm going to do is do the front part in a lighter cold grey, so it looks more silvery and shiny. I'm going to cover it all over though, not try and make it look shiny grey and shiny silver. You could use a silver pencil or a silver pen if you want to do that. And then in the background I'm going to use a darker cold grey. So I'm going to use the greythorn colour for my lightest grey. I'm going to do that first, greythorn, okay. And so I'm going to go over, on the top here, we've got a little frame. I'm going to go over that first. Hopefully you can see. I know I'm very zoomed out. It is a small book though. So I'm going to do all this frame. I'm just blocking it in nice and dark because I know I'm going to be using a darker colour. So it will stand out still. And then blocking in some of these shapes. Now this particular one here has got teardrops in it, which I'm going to leave blank and put as if they're cut out, and it's going to be the background showing in those. Hopefully that sort of makes sense. So don't colour in the teardrop shapes. Yeah, I mean you can if you want. If you think that it's a sensible thing to do, do it. But I'm not going to do it. There we go. So there is that little bit done. And do the same on this one, and this one. Nice and straightforward colouring. So I'm keeping it really simple today because I know it's going to get a bit more complicated as we do the detailed things. But I don't want to make it hard. What I can see in the bottles while I'm colouring here is all of them have got planets or the moon, the sun, stars, that sort of thing in them. So I'm thinking maybe each of them should have a little galaxy sky inside the bottle. But if I do that, do I do them all the same? Do I try and do different? I mean, I think I wouldn't want to try and do them identical because they're different shapes and sizes. And that would be very difficult with 4, 8, 12, 16, 21, 25, 29, 32 bottles. That'd be quite difficult, wouldn't it? But I could use the same selection of colours maybe and do it that way, or I could just do them all with different colour skies. So there's quite a lot of decision making on this page, which I think again is makes it a bit trickier. You know, if a page is just a picture of a flower and some grass or whatever, then I know what colour I want to do the grass. I now want the leaves to be green, and then it's just deciding about the flower. You know, the decisions are much more limited. So this can be anything. Makes it a little bit trickier. And then of course I've got this background to think about as well. Now I'm not going to do the background black, which was the thought I'd had in my head, because we've got this black border. So the background will be lost if we did that. So that's one colour eliminated out of the however many black widows there are. 170 is it? I can't remember. I don't know. I don't think that the maths adds up for that, but there's a lot. So yeah, eliminates, well, actually it's 2 blacks, it eliminates 2 colours. Well, there you go. Certainly I'm not going to do it grey and silvers either, so there you go, there's a few more eliminated. But I still haven't quite decided. I'm thinking, you know, if I'm doing galaxy skies, then I would be using pinks and purples probably, but also greens can work with sky, and blue and black, so that gets that sort of leaves us with red, orange or yellow for the background. I mean, orange would look quite Halloweeny, and so would red. Red looks quite opulent, but would it match a galaxy sky that's got pink and purple in? But does it need to? Would it look good if it doesn't match? Questions in my brain. Do you all have these questions when you're colouring, or do you just go, oh, just pick a pencil and do it? That's what I tend to do in the end, is I just get to it and go, right, let's go, and just grab something. Grab and go. But at this stage, this is where I'm pondering, doing all my pondering, consideration, what we're going to do. I think I'm going to do the cupboard handles with this colour as well. I think it would sort of make sense with regards to if I was designing this cupboard. I would make the handles silver if I had silver detailing on the cupboard. I'm only plain colouring this handle. I might add some darker grey once I get it out, but I don't know if I'm going to do much with extra with it. This is a small feature after all. I'm just going to sharpen. How are we doing for time? It takes a long time to do a very little bit when someone's waffling on. And thinking. I've got a bit of telly to watch today. I was watching, got The Traitors to watch. It's a fun show. I described it to my husband. I said, "You're going to watch it with me?" He was like, "No, I won't." So I said, "I'll tell you about it." I said, "I'll just tell you it and it won't matter because you're not going to watch it." And he went, "It sounds horrendous. It sounds awful," was all he kept saying. I was like, "It's so good. I really enjoyed it." But then it's because it's a sort of competitive thing, which he dislikes. He hates board games. So it is based on a board game. The background colour. Am I going to use medium grey? I think I will use. If I can find it, there it is. Now I want to make sure that I layer this enough so that it looks different colour-wise. Okay, if you press too lightly, it might end up just looking like the same grey. But I want, because it's darker, I want it to look like it's sort of sinking back into the background. So I'm making sure that I'm just putting enough layers on so it isn't too wishy-washy. And then you can see it nicely. Yeah, he said, "Oh, it sounds awful." So basically the contestants have to murder each other off until there's just, I don't know how many get left. I haven't seen it before. So I only know what from the first show. But he said, "Oh, that sounds horrible." That's just a game. You know, it's a bit of fun. It's there's a lot of sort of psychology in it. You know, who's telling lies, who's not, who's keeping a low profile, you know, that sort of thing. And what tactics are they using to try and stay in the game? That sort of, you know. Right, so there's the first one. We're just going to go across to this one. So, yeah, I think it's a really interesting show. But there's very famous celebs, in UK famous, not worldwide famous, you know, much more than other reality shows, which is interesting. I think they must have sort of nabbed a big name and then used that as a way to get other big names involved. You know, oh, if they're doing it, then I'll do it, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a lot more than other celebrity shows where a lot of them just won't appear. But I also think in this show you're not made to look silly, I think, from what I can see. So I think that helps a lot. Right, that's our bottom bit. We're going to do the same on the top sections, and then our sort of doors will be done. Now, because I'm assuming they're glass doors, and so we could put some white across them at the end to make them look more glassy. The problem I have with that is that we're using Black Widow pencils and some of the colours bleed into white. So if I'm not careful and I use one of those colours that bleeds into white and then go like that, I might find that I get some, it goes, let's say this is in the colour, it goes white, 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 neon, neon, white, white, white. It goes neon pink. So that is a bit of a concern of mine, but I usually have a bit of tape on the pencils that do it, and it's on my swatch chart, so hopefully I can avoid those. But I might not decide to do that at the end anyway. I might decide that's a bit risky, or it might spoil it, or there's enough going on without that as well. So we'll have to wait and see. We're a long way away from from that particular stage in this page. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, if you haven't got Black Widow pencil, should have said this right at the beginning, I have some comparison swatch charts, so you should be able to find the equivalent colours in a set of pencils that you have, hopefully. If there isn't a swatch chart for your favourite pencils or for pencils that you have, then let me know and I'll see if I can make one if I've got the pencils. And also, what was I going to say? No, it's gone. Swatch chart, comparison charts. Yeah, any swatch charts or comparison charts I'm happy to do. I have been asked to do one for the Woomer pencils, or a couple, but I haven't yet got the green gold because it was missing from my tin. But my contact there is sending me a copy, or sending me one, so it'll come eventually and I'll be able to start doing that. But yeah, let me know. And all the charts are available in my Ko-fi. The link's in the video description and they're all free. You're perfectly allowed to pay if you want to, but I don't want you to feel like you have to. Some of them I make, the swatch charts I make for me. The comparison charts, not so much so, I make them for you, but it means you can watch my video and colour along, which I want you to be able to do. So they're sort of still for me in that sense, and means that you're joining me in colouring the page, which is rather nice. Now we have done 31 minutes. That's quite a lot of time. I think I'm going to do a few details though with this medium grey on the handle. So above and below the handle there's this little fussy bit, just putting a little bit on the top and bottom of there, and a bit around that edge. There's a sort of line, I'm just going around it. That's it there. I'm not very happy with the colour of the wood still. I'm just looking at it and thinking. I'm going to grab that huntsman and I might just put some more stripes of black, not black, huntsman, brown, into it to just make it look a bit darker in places like this. It's not showing up at all. I'm not certain that's doing anything. I think my best bet would be to go over it with a beigey colour, and that would get rid of some of the redness. But I've got to finish this now I started because my mind won't let me not. I'm wondering if something yellowy or beige. So we'll either a light bronze or an oyster or suede. I'm going to try a bit of light bronze. It's a nice colour anyway. Here it is, light bronze. That's better. So I'm going to burnish this wood with the light bronze to give it a nicer colour. You may like the colour it was, and if you do then you don't have to do this, or you could burnish it with an oyster or a suede if you don't really want to change the colour very much. Or you could use a burnishing pencil, Derwent. I don't know if anybody else does, to be honest. Or even a blending pencil would burnish a little bit. Difference between a blending pencil and a burnisher? I'm not sure of the actual chemical makeup difference, but what I do know is when you use a burnishing pencil, that's your final layer of pencil. It flattens everything so much you can't get any more pencil down. A blender pencil doesn't do that. As long as you don't press mega hard, you can go back after and put more colour on top of the area that you blended. Now you can see the difference, so you can decide which you like. Luckily I like the one on the left, so that's good. If I preferred the one on the right, I'd be in trouble, wouldn't I? I've just noticed it's 12 o'clock. I think I might cook some mushrooms for lunch. One of my sons is going to have some eggs, a bit could have some mushrooms as well. Might do that in a minute. We've got loads, so be good to use some, and they'll be delicious. Now I'm going to have to do this on the shelves as well before I finish. I've got to sharpen it quite a bit though. Yeah, I'm much preferring that. It just feels more my sort of colour. I don't know if that makes sense. I just like the colour better. Oops, I went over the bottle there. Oh, there's no shelf at the bottom, is there? We can't see it because of the pattern on the door. Now I've done this bit, I'm not feeling so daunted about the page, even though the bit that I find most daunting I haven't done yet. So that's quite interesting. Good though. Right. There we go. I'm going to finish there for today. I'm just going to come out so you can see the whole page. There we go. Yeah, so that was quite a lot, even though it seemed to take ages. But we've got the main sort of border areas done, so that's good. Yeah, hopefully you'll join me tomorrow for the next bit. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. Depends how my mood takes me when I come back to this, because as I say, I'm going off for lunch now. So whether I come back after lunch or I go off and watch Traitors, which I've been dying to watch all morning. Dying. Anyway, thank you for watching today. I hope that you have a super rest of your Monday, and happy colouring.